Well, Monday, still today, February 21st. Seems kind of a slow day on the news front, as Ottawa has been cleared out. The debate in Parliament on the Emergencies Act drags out. It's to be voted on tonight. I think at 11 o'clock. I'm not sure. This evening sometime. The independent media has kind of gone home to lick their wounds after getting physically trashed at Ottawa. As I said in an earlier video, Trudeau said in his press release today, it's a shame that the media is attacked. He's referring, of course, to the mainstream, or what's referred to often as the legacy media, getting booed away at the protests. The CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, shows up and the people are booing them. You know, if you're not going to do some real journalism, just go away. So that's what I want to explain a little bit about. A lot of Canadians don't understand it. Somehow or other it went over their heads or past them. There's been two great big chunks of money handed to the legacy media. The last one was $1.6 billion. I think that was roughly a year ago. I'm not sure. I could go back in my own videos, but it really doesn't matter. And at the time, I wondered why there were little tiny newspapers all across the country that got this money. My local newspaper here is a very rural newspaper. It comes in my mailbox once a week. I always really enjoyed looking at it. I haven't seen an old-fashioned farmer's newspaper since I don't know when. You know, I can look in the ads and find firewood I can buy or sell, horse manure. They have articles on fertilizing your soybean crop and pestilent detection in your rapeseed crop. I don't even know what rapeseed is, but I read these articles for some reason. I don't know. And shortly after that money came out, you know, I opened my little looking forward to newspaper there, and all the articles, the editorial page, whoa, did it turn left and hard and fast. 2 or 3 weeks of that, and I haven't looked at it in months. It goes right in my firebox. I can't even bear it. So that's if you're seeing the controversy, I guess isn't quite the right word, on our legacy or mainstream media. It is literally a propaganda machine for the government. You know, I've commented before in the last couple of videos about the bias that they portray what's going on here. I mean, the CBC used to be our go-to station all through my childhood. 6 and 11 o'clock news. If there was an election or a political controversy, CBC was your go-to station. Now, despite the fact that they're entirely funded by the government, Rebel News, independent journalism, has more subscribers than they do. And Rebel News, True North, Druthers, and some others, they're supported solely by subscriber donations. And again, Rebel has more subscribers and certainly an awful lot more followers than the CBC. But I was in town earlier today, and so I go in the restaurant to see how they're making out, see if I can afford the luncheon special and use their internet. And I'm watching Toronto News, and yeah, the bias is extraordinary. I'm talking to the waitress, and she says, you know, we've developed a bit of a rapport on the political level, but this is all she sees. And she admits it. She says, this is the only channel I see when I'm at work here. I said, well, did you see the horses trampling through the crowd in Ottawa? Did you see the tear gas in the streets? Did you see this or that? She says, no, I don't see any of that. I said, well, it's because you're only seeing this, you know. I said, do you realize that all across Canada, there's protests, and not just the big cities, going on as we speak? She's like, no, I thought everything was in Ottawa. I said, oh, far from it, my dear. And so I'm sifting on my phone here at the same time as I'm waiting, we're watching the mainstream media on the big screen. The cook comes out with my sandwich, and I just, I said, "Oh, here, look," to the waitress gal. I said, "Look, there's Calgary today, not yesterday, today, Monday. Look at it." She's like, "Oh, looks like Ottawa." Well, before the weekend, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of my point." And the cook guy's like, "Where's that? I thought they cleared Ottawa out." I'm like, "It's Calgary, dude." He's like, "Really? They're protesting there too?" I'm like, "Well, in every province across the country." So, anyways, that explains how our mainstream media, legacy media, is literally just a propaganda machine for the government. There's anybody who looks at it and sees both sides of the news equation doesn't argue with that. Anybody who does argue with it is only seeing the mainstream media. It can be the only conclusion I can draw.